Healthcare.
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 Healthcare. Healthcare. One nation under God with liberty, justice, and healthcare for all. This is what we're going to go over today. Obama's plan for all Americans. I'm going to go over what happens if you have health insurance, also what happens if you don't have health insurance, and what happens to all Americans under this plan. Some health insurance rhetoric defined. Premium, the amount the policyholder or his sponsor pays to the health plan each month to purchase health coverage. Deductible, the amount that the insured must pay out of pocket before the health insurer pays its share. For example, a policyholder might have to pay a $500 deductible per year before any of their health care is covered by the health insurer. Co-payment, the amount that the insured person may pay out of pocket before the health insurer pays for a particular visit or service. Co-insurance, instead of or in addition to paying a fixed amount up front, the co-insurance is a percentage of the total cost that the insured person may also pay.
First of all, if you're among the hundreds of millions of Americans who already have health insurance through your job, or you've got health insurance through Medicare or Medicaid or the VA, nothing in this plan will require you or your employer to change your coverage or your doctor. Under this plan, it will be against the law for insurance companies to deny you coverage because of a pre-existing condition. It will be against the law for insurance companies to drop your coverage when you get sick or water it down when you need it.
So remember, no one is forced to change their health insurance company at all. Absolutely nobody. Pre-existing conditions. Insurance companies regularly drop people. They're never held accountable for what happens to the sick people after they're dropped. And many people after being dropped now have no hope of ever getting better, and their health is worsened by receiving no medical care whatsoever. A recent national survey of 12.6 million non-elderly adults calculated that of the entire group, 36% of those who tried to purchase health insurance directly from an insurance company in the individual insurance market were in fact discriminated against because of a pre-existing condition in the previous 3 years. When you're too sick, your insurance company has the option of dropping you even if you've paid your premiums. And why, you might ask? Well, that's a pretty simple answer. It's all because of the profit. Who wins and loses in this case? Well, that's pretty simple. A recent congressional investigation into this practice found nearly 20,000 recessions. It saved the companies who did this almost $300 million in medical claims that instead had to come out of the pockets of individuals like you, me, and other people you know. At least one insurance company has been found to evaluate employee performance based in part on the amount of money an employee saved a company through recessions.
Birdman, my paw, bitch, ball, bred, born rich.
Christina, you were sexually assaulted in 2002, and then you lost your health insurance. What happened?
Well, basically, I was dropped by the company after I had submitted a month's worth of anti-HIV medication because I was drug raped. And once I went to the doctor, she decided, because there was no way to tell if my attacker wore a condom, she wanted to put me on anti-HIV medication. Once I submitted my reimbursement for that, because it was $1,000 a month, and I submitted it for reimbursement, next thing I know, my insurance drops me.
It's standard practice in the event of a rape where it's not known whether the attacker used a condom or not, to go on anti-HIV medication for a month in order to protect yourself from the possibility of getting HIV. So you did that, you did what the doctor said, and then you suddenly get dropped. What reason did the insurance company give for dropping your coverage?
Well, what they told me was that they did not receive payment, which was sent. The payment was never cashed, and that was the last thing on my mind, was trying to balance a checkbook when I was in therapy, trying to deal with my situation. I mean, I didn't even leave my house for 3 months. I was in therapy. Once they found out I was in therapy and on medication, I had to call them and explain that I did not have AIDS, that I was on preventative HIV medication so I wouldn't get it. And they said, there's no way we can reinstate your coverage because I'm in therapy, on medication, and I would need to go 2 to 3 years being HIV tested for free. I mean, free HIV testing. So I don't have it to prove to them.
And you weren't HIV positive. Thank goodness you did not contract the virus.
That's correct.
Yet still, you could not get insurance after that.
I'm a health insurance agent, okay, and I know how it works.
Wait a minute, you're a health insurance agent?
Yes, I am. I've been in the industry 27 years, and I've been an agent for 12 years. And I'm an independent.
What is that like to know this industry, to work in this industry, and then all of a sudden to find that you can't get insurance?
I was traumatized all over again. That's how I felt. So what I did, being in the insurance field, is I called the underwriters and said, I have a hypothetical question. I have a woman that was raped. She was on AIDS medication only for a month. Her first test has been negative. What can we do? They said, depending on the company I talked to, they said, you cannot get coverage. This person is not eligible for coverage until she goes 2 to 3 years of HIV-free testing, and until she's out of counseling for 2 to 3 years and on no medication. So I was being condemned for doing the right thing for my sanity and to be able to get me back out in the field, because as a health insurance agent, I'm meeting strangers every day. I didn't leave my house for 3 months. I needed that therapy to be able to work and make my commission. I'm a straight commission, and get out there and do my job.
And just for accuracy's sake, you're healthy now, and you do have coverage because you got married.
Exactly.
That was the only way.
And I was able to get under a group plan that had guaranteed issue at an open enrollment period. That's exactly right.
Christina, I appreciate you coming on to tell your story. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time, Anderson.
They will no longer be able to place some arbitrary cap on the amount of coverage you can receive in a given year or a lifetime. We will place a limit on how much you can be charged for out-of-pocket expenses, because in the United States of America, nobody should go broke because they got sick.
Caps on insurance. The reason to get health insurance is to protect yourself from financial ruin if you incur high healthcare costs. Most consumers, though, have a cap of $1 million for their lifetime. And that sounds great, doesn't it? But one thing many forget is that healthcare is not cheap, and after a couple surgeries, many people exceed their cap. In fact, the cost of healthcare has increased with inflation, but the benefits have not. A cap of $1 million in the 1970s would have to be raised to an equivalent of $10 million today to keep up with rising costs, and about 22% of caps are less than $2 million. And this leads to high out-of-pocket expenses. So when you're still in need of another surgery or more healthcare and you've exceeded your lifetime cap, what do you do next? You have two options. Option 1, start using your hard-earned savings even though you've paid much of your money to your insurance company over your lifetime to pay for these such things. And like I've said before, healthcare isn't cheap, especially with no more insurance money coming in. And then there is option 2. Pretty easy, huh? Health insurance reality check. Humana, Assurant, Cigna, Aetna, Kaiser Permanente, and WellPoint are some of America's biggest companies. So how much are health insurance companies making? Well, the answer to that is a lot. And I got some numbers here just to let you know how much. And this is their net income for last year. And remember, last year was a recession. Aetna with $1.4 billion, Assurant with $500 million, Cigna with $300 million, Humana with $600 million, Kaiser Permanente with $1.3 billion. So what have we learned today? Pretty much health insurance companies don't care about you, they only care about their profits.